Welcome back. Thank you for watching video number 2. We begin by talking about the homework policy in room 107. Benny has a standing policy of essentially being homework free, which means you will not have weekly homework packets. We will be doing weekly poetry reciting on Fridays, starting in a few weeks, but students will have plenty of time in class to work on those poetry reciting projects. Throughout the year, there will be a couple of different book projects or book reports, but again, there will be class time donated to or designated for reading those books and working on those activities. Essentially, the end of the day, there will be a little bit of time at the end of every day in which they can complete work that they did not finish in class, ask for help on assignments that they were a little bit unclear, work on any longer term projects, or build their skills as a reader. So we'll end our day with that time, and they are certainly welcome to work on incomplete work when they are finished with what we are currently working on. If for some reason that your child wasn't able to complete an assignment in which there was enough time in class to complete, or they needed a little bit of extra time, there will be taking it home. But should I find that your child needs additional home time to complete in-class projects, that will be a conversation between your child and I and you to see how I can best ensure that they have the adequate amount of time in class to complete classwork. Class celebrations. We will be having one unbirthday in room 107. So how we will handle birthdays actually is having one big class unbirthday party in which we'll celebrate everyone's unbirthday. It actually is coming up in a couple of weeks, and an invitation will be going home. I did check, so no one has a birthday on the designated day, and it'll be our one chance to have one big birthday celebration, and then I invite you to help celebrate your child's birthday outside of school, which allows us then to focus on the learning in the classroom, and most importantly, actually, it gives equal attention to all students. Often I have found that students who have birthdays either on a holiday or in the summer, or even on, say, our Lansing field trip day, they miss out on the extra attention. And so this is a way for us to make sure that everyone is celebrated equally. We will be having a combination of Dia de los Muertos and Halloween party on October 31st, and be exploring the Mexican culture around that holiday and comparing it, contrasting it with our own. And in December, we'll be having a holiday potluck. Just a few class celebrations in the fall. Fun Fridays. So each Friday we will join our fellow 3rd and 4th grade classes outside for recess. It's a great opportunity to celebrate all the learning that has taken place throughout the week. If for some reason your child is missing an assignment or hasn't quite completed something that they needed to complete, they'll be able to work on that work outside, and then when they're finished with it, go join their class. Everyone comes to Fun Fridays together in room 107, and should the weather not allow us to go outside and play, I've actually reserved the computer Chromebooks, and so we will be focusing this year on Code.org's computer coding for elementary students. So we'll be doing some fun with computer coding if we happen to have to be inside for our Fun Fridays. The School of Culinary Arts. What I have done in my teaching here in 4th grade is use cooking as a way to enhance students' learning really across all disciplines. Cooking involves mathematics, obviously, cutting recipes in half, doubling recipes, the science of boiling water and chemical transactions and melting, changes of states of matter. Cooking is certainly present in social studies and the different cultural connections to the food that we eat and how we prepare it. And of course, language arts, as students read the recipes and reflect on what they have read and learned and created. And so beginning next week, we'll start cooking. In the first couple of weeks, they're recipes that I select. Beyond that point, they will be recipes that your child brings in. And so homework will be going home. I know we're homework free, but this one is actually asking you to send in a family recipe by Friday, September 21st that we can then prepare in class. It's amazing what we can cook in a small convection oven and with a hot plate. I ask that if at all possible, your recipe is something that's connected to your family, your family's culture, your family's history, or a family tradition of any kind, so that there is meaning behind that recipe for your child. Please consider the cost of the ingredients. I will let you know each week on a wish list ingredients that we might need for the week ahead, but I certainly provide all of those that don't get donated, and ask that you keep the cost of the recipe in mind if at all possible. We actively incorporate technology into our classrooms, and we're very fortunate to have a class set of Chromebooks that we share within the fourth grade classes. So the three of us share those Chromebooks, and your students will be using them almost on a daily basis to both use it as an investigation tool in their learning, but also the technology will then be used for them to demonstrate the learning that they have. I am fortunate to have some iPads and iPod Touches that they will also be using to create reading responses to and take videos of each other, engaged in their science explorations, or even simply just listening to great books on CD or audio, as the case may be. And finally, I was able to secure a grant a few years ago and have several Sphero robots that we can use as part of our computer programming opportunities, and they're always a huge hit with the students. Lastly, communication. The best way to get a hold of me truly is the email. And if you have not already explored our classroom website, kidsinroom107.com, you can always access my email that way. Certainly feel free to write me a note. Sometimes notes kind of get lost between you and I, so that email is definitely easier to track. And you can definitely call me at Benny. The number is listed there. Please allow me about a day to get back to you. Usually I'm faster at my responses, but it kind of depends on what's on the schedule for that day in terms of how accessible I am to the electronics. Most Fridays you'll receive a class newsletter in the form of a blog that I will email you out the link. And I will also be using Remind as a way to send out reminders and communicate things like club cancellations at Benny, etc. So if you have not done so already, take a moment to text the @CFE 976 to 81010. And along with several of my Benny colleagues and our principal, Mrs. Metzger, I have a Twitter account for my classroom, so you can follow me on Twitter. I will be tweeting out some of the exciting, fun things that our kids do in the class, and it's just another means of helping you know what we're doing in Room 107. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you at Meet the Teacher Night. Please don't hesitate to ask me any questions, and I think that it really is going to be a great year at Benny Elementary. Thank you.